Well, this time around we're in Holland and we're going to be fishing for a completely new species. We're fishing for zander. It's the autumn. We're in the south of the country and really Holland is the mecca of zander fishing. And for a guide, I've chosen a really busy guy and probably someone who's recognised as the best all-round predator fisherman in Europe as well. And that's Bertus Rosemeyer. So I'm hoping not only will we get good fishing, but also that I'll learn a few new ideas and tricks in the bargain. I'm really looking forward to this one. I flew from Birmingham International to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam on KLM Airlines. The flight took just over an hour. I met my fishing guide and we drove south towards the Rhine-Maas Delta, which is a large man-made lake system created to alleviate flooding. Well, I'm not very good in speaking in Dutch, double Dutch possibly, but I'll give it a go. We're actually here on Lake Volkerak.
Yeah, you're good.
Not a bad effort.
No.
Tell us a little bit about it, Bertus, because it's an amazing place. I mean, there are some huge ships around us. How big is it?
Well, it's about 15 kilometers long and about, well, as you can see now, 1.5 kilometers wide.
Yeah.
It's a former sea arm of the river Rhine in Maas Delta, locked off many years ago. And gradually it was getting more or less fresh. It's brackish now, very much like the Baltic. Zanders here are really big. Going up to about 10 kilos is no problem. Records of 15 kilos have been reported. There is lots of big pike in it, going over 40 pounds. And big perch. So don't be surprised if you pull up a 6-pound perch or so during this day.
Well, I think it's fair to say that this is going to be a real journey of discovery for me. We do a lot of lure fishing for zander over in England, of course, but we're very new to it. And the one thing I'm very interested in is this technique of vertical jig fishing, where the boat's set up on a long drift and we're jig fishing right underneath the boat, literally drifting across the fish and tapping the bottom. So this is going to be a really interesting session for me. One of the things I thought we ought to pick up on first of all, Bertus, is the use of the echo sounder to actually locate the right places.
Well, you can see a lot of fish at the moment at the bottom. A really big fish here. Could be a huge zander.
So you've got basically the wind blowing us this way.
Yeah.
You're using the electric motor to slow the
Slowly
drift.
back troll, yeah.
So you're aiming to go as slowly as possible.
And then especially as the water is really cold, slow can't be slow enough.
So how far do you like to lift the jig off the bottom?
About 25 centimeters.
That's not a big distance, is it?
No.
So you keep it very close?
Yeah, right. And the thing is, if you lower it slow, give a short pull upwards, leave it there for 3 or 4 seconds, then sink it down again very slowly. You will take 100% of your bites
on the drop.
Never up, always down.
Well, what we're doing here probably looks really simple, and I suppose it is, but there's a hell of a lot going on that perhaps you don't realise. We're fishing a style called vertical jigging. It's highly specialised, and one of the things that really interests me about this is that in England, for most of our predator fishing, we tend to use 20 or 30 pounds braid, but today we're using 8 and 10 pounds braid. Now, why is that, Bertus?
Well, if you use thicker lines, there is so much pressure on your line that your jig head will be too far away from the boat to control it to the maximum.
So the fine line cuts through that,
yeah,
and it enables you to fish much tighter to the rod tip and jig the lure properly. Now, the other interesting thing is the lack of a wire trace. You don't use a wire trace, do you? Now, why is that?
Well, if you use wire, we simply notice that it will shy off the fish. If you would compete with me, you with a trace and I without a trace, I will catch 40% more. And because you're fishing deeper than most of the pike are standing, the chance of getting connected to a pike is very, very small.
Well, it's a real journey of discovery for me, I can tell you. Let's carry on and do a bit more fishing, eh?
Shall we try it?
Yeah. Bertus is into a fish.
Oh, it's a beautiful fish.
That's the first Dutch zander I've ever seen.
If you put them back, as you normally would, quite gentle, they won't go down. So don't be shocked. It might look a bit cruel, but it's really the only way to do it.
I've got one, Bertus. Not the biggest zander in the water, but it's my first one. Bombing back down. This, in fact, is predator fishing heaven. Another nice fish, Bertus.
What we call a legal fish.
But you can take that one, can you?
If you would.
So when you bring them up, it causes the swim bladder to blow up.
Exactly.
And they won't swim straight back down.
No.
So,
And because you drop them, it scares them off a bit, and then they go straight down.
oh, that's a bit bigger, Bertus.
Sure looks like it.
Yeah, it's very nice fishing with this very thin braid because it gives you perfect contact with the bottom. And you can even feel what type of bottom you're fishing over, and the bite was just a sudden tap then. Not a massive zander, it's not as big as the one you caught, but it's a nice one. Oh, look at that, that's my first proper Dutch zander, and it's completely swallowed the lure, look at that. Right inside its mouth. Great stuff. Very nice looking fish. Of course, they look exactly the same as they do in England. The colours vary slightly, but not really very much. And like in England, sometimes they really get the lure inside them quite deep. There he goes. Look at those fins bristling with defiance. He looks pretty angry with me, actually, so I'm going to put him back. But this is one of the lucky zander because people do eat these fish. Let's give him a... Definitely works.
Definitely works.
Oh, you're in again. Well done. Yeah, I think that one's breastfeeding on your lure.
For sure.
Yeah. I hooked something.
This is a good fish, Matt.
Yeah, it feels a decent fish. Bertus is into one as well, so we're obviously over a group of them. Ah, now yours is much smaller than mine.
Yeah, well, I caught more.
Ooh. Oh, very nice. You've definitely got the touch there, mate. That's great.
There seems to be a lot of fish here.
Yeah, there does, doesn't there? Let's just have a look at the jig, Bertus. This is a system that you've come up with, isn't it? Where you're using a jig head with a flying treble.
Yeah, well, as you see, we use a snap.
Yeah.
And rigging up in the winter, you need needles to get your stinger through with cold fingers.
Yeah.
Not really a nice thing to do. So we made a concept with simply a lure with a shaft in it. You push through small steel wire, matching to the lure you're using, like this.
That's very clever.
Yeah. We've got hooks with a size on it, which is also matching on the back of the lure. Number 6, number 4, and so on. Which is matching to the jig head. So you can see this hook will come out straight out of this number here. Jig heads we are using is about 14 and 20 grams maximum. So you actually can't go wrong. This is a number 6. I pour it through hole number 6 and you will see that it matches perfectly. You fold the stinger trace over the eye.
And then attach it to your snap. So what we've got is we've got the large single hook here, which is how we fish in England.
Yeah.
But you've got a flying treble hook here, and the wire passes through the body of the bait because there's a slot moulded into it.
Yeah.
Now this stinger's very important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You will see over the day that about 90% of the fish you catch is on the stinger hook, not on the main hook of the jig head. Zander have a very funny way of hunting. Over the day they mainly bite the fish without eating it. They injure it and pick up the injured fish later on
So
in the
the
evening.
zander will actually attack a fish,
Yeah.
disable it,
Yeah.
and leave it there until dark, and then it will go and pick it up.
Exactly. They won't escape anymore. So later during the evening you will see that most of the zanders are really feeding and you will hook them on the main hook.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Got another one in on here, Bertus.
The 7th,
Yeah, got quite a few, yeah.
up to a 30-incher now.
Yeah, I'm working my way up. I'm definitely getting the hang of this now.
Yeah.
Well, not a big fish, but it's really good fun. I'm about to make my salt on the Dutch zander record. How big's that?
It's over 15 kilos.
15 kilos.
Yeah.
This lure's worked well, actually, hasn't it?
That's great.
It's been very
It
good.
looks very natural.
Yeah. I've had these for ages, you know, and I've tried them a couple of times at home, but I've definitely been fishing them the wrong way.
Maybe you're afraid that there is not enough action in it.
Well, actually, that's true. Because I discarded this lure because I didn't think there was enough action in the tail.
Oh, more than enough for the zander, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, you're right. I mean,
And
there has been today. Oh, Bertus has definitely got a good zander on here. This one's fighting much, much harder than the others. Oh, well done. Very nice. That's a solid one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nice.
Now that's a proper Dutch zander, that one. Fabulous. Well, it's been a really fantastic day, actually. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, this morning, when we ventured out onto this water, I was thinking, where on earth has Bertus brought me? Surely he's taken the wrong turn and we've ended up on the North Sea. But it's been absolutely brilliant. The fishing was quite hard to start off with because the wind was very strong. The boat was drifting quite quickly. But as the day wore on, our fish tally increased. And I don't know how many zander we've caught today, but how many do you reckon?
Well, I think 35.
And it's been a real learning curve for me. I fished all over the world and I love it when I learn something new.
Yeah,
and the good news is we've got another day tomorrow.
Better
and
weather.
Weather sounds like
Sunshine,
it's going to be better.
No wind.
Can't be bad, can it, eh? I'm back on Volkrag Lake with Bertus Rosemeyer for day 2 of our Dutch zander fishing adventure. And what a difference a day makes. Yesterday we fished on something that looked like the North Sea. It was misty all day long. Having said that, we caught so many zander. We literally caught probably 30 or even 35 fish. But today's all about trying to catch a big fish. We're going to go all out for either a big zander or maybe a big perch or a big pike. So it looks like we've got the weather for it. Nice sunshine, a good ripple on the water. Conditions really couldn't be better. So hopefully, Bertus.
Well, this looks a promising place.
We've got a big underwater hump there.
Yeah. Looks like
sea fish marking next to it, yeah.
This is really serious.
Yeah, these are proper big fish.
You see bait fish everywhere.
Yeah.
Like this is most certainly a zander, because if it would be bream, you will see lots of arches all tied together on the bottom.
Yeah, but these are spread out.
These are solitary fish. We better start jigging here. And then we drift over one side first. Okay, there we are. And this is a ball of bait fish with zander under it, most likely zander.
There's a fish, Bertus.
Fine.
It's not very big, but it's a fish.
Yeah.
Very shy bite.
It was more or less like yesterday, when we were scratching them from the bottom in the beginning.
Yeah.
And later on, we were catching all these fish that easy.
Yeah, let's just hope it goes the same way today, huh?
Yeah, you never know. That would be nice as a pike bait.
It would. That's a real bait fish, that is. I tell you what, probably a big zander might even eat that. It's very small, isn't it? He's really chewed up my jig, look. He won't let go.
Oh,
Don't chew
really,
it up.
They're really good.
Let go. Greedy little devil. Look at that. Perfect little zander.
Yeah, they're super beautiful.
How old would that be, do you think?
This is the 2nd year class.
2nd year class.
Yeah.
Look at this, Bertus. There's a scrape here. Something's tried to eat him.
Yeah, most likely pike.
Yeah, but he's had a narrow escape.
Yeah. Not when you were passing over, though.
No, but he'll be all right. I'm going to give him the old backflip treatment now.
And gone.
You got one on, Bertus?
Yeah, small one. Ah, gone. That was really a tiny one.
Oh, it's a snag, is it?
Snag?
Yeah, I thought it was a good fish then. I think they're trolling way too fast, Bertus.
Well,
They won't catch anything at that speed. That's
maybe they're hoping for a marlin or so.
Yeah, that's blue marlin speed, that is. I've just changed my lure over and I've got myself connected to definitely a better fish this time. Oh, yeah.
And this is a really serious fish,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
I hooked it in very deep water, so it's very difficult to know until you get the fish near the surface how big it is. But this one's hanging on a bit. It's good bend in this rod.
This is what you wanted.
The fishing's been really, really slow this morning, but
Well, if this is the reward.
this one might be worth the wait. It's definitely the hardest fighting fish I've hooked of the trip so far. Oh, it's a pike.
I thought
And he's
so.
got off.
He's
Look
still
at him,
there.
he
He's
is.
still there.
Yeah. I thought I'd got a really big zander on for a minute, but pike is pike.
Back is back.
You didn't take a wrong turn somewhere, Bertus, did you? I just wondered whether we'd ended up in Zeebrugge by mistake or something.
Don't worry.
There's some serious ships coming through here.
We're halfway the lake now.
What made you come down here?
Our friends of me have been fishing here on the same day as we were on the other side. And they caught 64 zenders in 3 hours.
Really?
So,
Wow. Well, that move certainly paid off, Bertus.
yeah.
I'm into a fish straight away here. There's the shad. Little green and sort of creamy yellow coloured shad. With this being brackish water, you actually find smelts here, which is a fish we normally only get in the estuaries in England. They're a very good pike bait, actually, very popular dead bait, but you don't tend to find them in our river systems much anymore. The zander here feed on them regularly, so green's obviously a good trigger colour. The fishing hasn't been particularly good today, so...
No, it's horrible. 5 fish so far, and that's very poor.
Yeah, it's been very slow today. The Netherlands has plenty of windmills, but there are other things to see. Located just over an hour away from Amsterdam, the pretty town of Steenbergen is remote. It's only got one restaurant, the odd quirky shop and a church. I stayed at the Hotel Arden, where the food is good and the beds are okay, which is important, but the best thing is it's just around the corner from the fishery. So how would you benchmark fishing in Holland on a worldwide basis? How good is it?
Not because I live here, but I think it's one of the best places you can imagine. Lots of big pike in Holland. I mean, I think that regarding big pike, Holland is a bit underestimated in the quality we've got.
Yeah.
A lake like this, well, if you really concentrate on pike, I'm pretty sure that you can catch 3-4 fish over 30 pounds each season.
That's fantastic.
With some 40s in it. So we're, as anglers in Holland, we're well off. But for a tourist angler, they have to simply depend on any guidance. And there are only a few guys who are doing this.
So angling holidays in Holland are actually not very common. You don't get many visiting anglers.
No, it's even impossible on a lake like this to rent a boat. So you have to, if you are an angler from the UK, you have to tow your own.
Or you hire a guide.
Or you hire a guide.
Which is
That's
ideal.
another way. And then you are pretty sure that for a decent boat and the knowledge of the waters, of course.
Yeah.
Which is a big plus.
This is a real turn up for the books.
This is a good one.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good start anyway.
It's a baby zander too. And as you can see on the stinger again.
20 metres down.
Yeah, 20 metres.
60 feet.
Yeah.
Fabulous fight on this light rod. Just caught this fish on what Bertus calls a dead rod, fished under the boat. He said it often produces the bigger fish, and that's the best one today. And there it is, caught on a completely static lure. That's a first for me, and it's a nice fish too.
Okay.
What colour have you got on, Bertus? What colour shad?
Brown.
Oh, there's a fish, Bertus.
Finally.
Yes. It's been very, very quiet today. The conditions have seemed so much nicer, and yet the fishing's actually been quite difficult. The wind's really died, and we thought that would be a good thing, but...
Controlling the boat is easy, but fishing is really hard.
Yeah. We're getting near to the end of the day now.
16 meters deep.
Yeah, very deep down. That's a nice handful, that one. A really solid fish. Beautiful. Never
Absolutely.
been caught before. Fins are perfect. Its body's really solid. Colours are absolutely pristine. It's a glistening fish, that is.
You need some pliers?
Maybe. Nope. It's gone awfully dark very quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Mind you, I suppose the fact that I'm sitting here in sunglasses probably doesn't help. I feel like a garden gnome sat here like this. Is it always this dark in Holland, Bertus?
No.
Well, after all of that, Bertus,
Can you imagine?
we get a double header after fishing for, what, an hour with nothing?
Yeah.
And then that was a really aggressive bite I had there. I've probably
For me too.
I've probably got your line.
No, I don't think so.
No, maybe not, but it just seems so crazy that we can fish for an hour with nothing and then just hook two simultaneously like this.
Oh, yours is bigger again.
Yeah, I know.
Hello, brother.
Well, I reckon that's about as good a time as any to finish. We've had a really good time down here at Volkrag Lake. I've got to say that the Dutch weather, to put it mildly, is absolutely pants. But the fishing is very, very good. Highly underrated. Holland is not a country that you associate with fishing tourism, but it's got an awful lot to offer. And for myself, well, I've had a fantastic time. I organise my own trip. However, there are tour operators who arrange fishing holidays in the Netherlands. Getting around is really easy, whether you hire a bicycle, car or take the train. It's advisable to find a fishing guide who can take you to the best places. It's been fascinating to learn this new style of vertical jigging with someone who basically invented it. We've caught an absolute rake of fish. We didn't get that really big fish today, Bertus.
No,
but,
not really.
Even so, I'll tell you what, it's been absolutely fascinating, and despite the weather, I've had a brilliant time.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much.